Do you suffer from zombie burnout? Are you tired of everything zombie? Well, I've got a list for you that you might enjoy. We'll talk about that in just a second. What's up, creatures? It's Tom here at Creatures Book Reviews. I'm back with another video. It's been a little while, been a little bit under the weather, and I'm trying to lose my voice, so bear with me. I wanted to go ahead and put something together for the spooky season to maybe contribute and share with the community a few things. Now, I know that there's a lot of us out there that enjoy a lot of typical type monsters, and I think one of those typical monsters among vampires and werewolves is definitely the zombie. And I consider myself a little bit of a zombie aficionado, if you want to get snobby about it, but I really do enjoy it. I've read a lot of zombie literature, and I have a lot to say about the subject. Yes, I'm a Walking Dead fan. I have watched it from the beginning, and I've never missed an episode. I know it has its ups and downs, but it's still been one of the greatest things on television to truly enjoy if you enjoy zombies. Just to share a couple of things with you, here's my Jeffrey Dean Morgan's as Negan's autograph. He's got kind of a wild looking autograph. And I have on the wall over here I have Scott Wilson, who played my favorite character, Herschel. His autograph, I was fortunate enough to meet him. And I also have this guy right here, show creator and main writer. It's really, it was kind of a thrill to be able to get this one also. I have a few action figures and such, but nothing of anything crazy. But my keen interest in zombies went way back, way prior to The Walking Dead. And I've enjoyed zombies since I've been a wee little lad, I guess. And so what I wanted to do is go over a few zombie books that I have definitely read and a few that are on my TBR. Now, there's a whole bunch more that are back here on this shelf. There's no way I could get through them all. The video would be 3-4 hours long. I have a lot of zombie fiction, and I've read a lot of it. And I certainly enjoy it. So I wanted to kind of like run through a list of some things that I have truly enjoyed. This is by no means a definitive list. It's my list. It's something that I enjoyed. And they're not ranked in any particular order because I can't really put one on top of them all. I'm going to start with the ones I don't have physical copies of. There's a book called Day by Day Armageddon, which I'll try to display over here somewhere. I don't even remember the author's name. That shows you how well researched I am about it. Just a second. Day by Day Armageddon is by J.L. Bourne. Always makes me think of like Jason Bourne, the movie character. And it's kind of what it is. It's a chronicle from the apocalypse as to how it goes forward. And it's literally a day by day, almost like a diary entry journal of what happens to this individual. It's very good. It was kind of independently published back in the day. It's been picked up and redone and edited, and I read it years and years ago, but I remember it being tremendous and truly a lot of fun. So pick that up and give that a try if you would like that. Another book, of course, that always belongs on this list is, of course, World War Z by Max Brooks. It's also like a short story compilation of the zombie apocalypse, how it starts, and I'm sure everyone that's watching this video has absolutely either seen the film or read the book. The book is much different than the movie. I enjoyed the movie. You know, I have a ton of zombie films also, but it is a tremendously well-written book, and it really keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's very well done. It's very powerful. I don't like just zombie books that are just blood and gore and splatter. I like something that has some sort of meaning behind it. I like something that has a real story where I get invested in the characters, that sort of thing. I think it's a much more entertaining ride. Okay, so there's two that I actually don't have physical copies of. I need to remedy that one day, but you know, I go to the library a lot as well. So the first one I'd like to talk to, now some of these would be classified as young adult, but they're still very good. You know, they're very well written. This is The Enemy. This is by Charlie Higson. Okay, this is an entire series of a lot of books, but this one deals The enemy is, it begins kind of as a simple story, but it deals more with, you have the typical person that is dealing with trying to survive the apocalypse. I believe it's set in London. Again, this one's been a while since I've read this one also. And I remember it being just this journey, and it deals with young people that are dealing with the apocalypse and a whole lot of things that are just going on, and it's very well put together. It's a lot of fun. This book's really good. It truly will stick with you, but the thing is it's now a very long series. I don't have them all. I have several of them over here, but I'm trying to get all of them put together so that I can read the whole series once again. Because when I picked this up, I think this was just by itself, or it was the only one that I'd seen, and I haven't kept up with it as I should have, because there's so many other books coming at me all the time. But this is a very good read. It is probably considered young adult, but it is still very entertaining, and I think you will enjoy it if you like zombies. Now, this series is also would be considered young adult. I don't know why there's so many young adult series in this stack, but there are. They just were really, really good. But trust me, this is not something that would make you regret reading it. This is a series by Jonathan Mayberry, and I'm actually a Facebook friend of his. He is a really super nice guy. Beautiful covers on these books. This is The Rot and Ruin. And now what I like about this is they have lived so long out in the rot and ruin that they've actually made cards, like baseball cards, of famous zombies. Everyone sleeps in their rooms at night, locked, because in the event they die in their sleep, they'll come back. So everyone has to be very accountable for what they do. And I think it's cool how he put this together. You can tell he's a card collector, because there's a chase card of himself in the back. Okay, and some of these famous zombies that are out in the rotten ruin, people have lived this way for so long that they've made cards of these famous zombies, and they go from community to community, and it's a great story. The characters are so well done. They are young people for the most part, but the characters are so well done. You just really, really like them. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw up a few of the covers here in this series. This is Dust and Decay. I love these covers. They're just amazing. They definitely sell the book. Flesh and Bone. So I like how it's hard to see the writing. Flesh and Bone. And here's Fire and Ash. And I actually believe it's gone past these 4 volumes now. So I need to get on that and pick those up while I can get them all in hardback. They're just definitely worth it. They're truly wonderful books. And I don't think you would regret reading them, even though I know some people have a problem with young adult literature. I really don't, because sometimes I have found some true jewels within the young adult writing community. They're just truly beautiful books. Okay, this one is really unique. I don't know if many people have heard of this one. I think more people should be talking about it. This one is called Dust. What makes this book unique as a zombie book is the fact that the zombies are still like with it. They realize they are falling apart and decaying, and it's that journey of like, what do you do with that? It's very thoughtful. It's a book that it's kind of urban fantasy, but it deals with what do these zombies do? How do they deal with the fact that the apocalypse has happened? And it gives them a little bit of agency and humanity still. So it's a very interesting prospect and concept that I really did enjoy. And it's a great book, Dust. Once again, I have kind of a young adult literature, but this one is by Courtney Summers, and it's called This Is Not a Test. I literally bought this book because of the cover. I saw the cover, and I'm like, that's a zombie book. It has to be. And I picked it up, and it says, you know, what do you do when the line between the living and the dead is blurred? Well, I immediately picked it up, brought it home, and slammed through reading it. And it was very, very good. It's about some teenagers that end up holding up together, I think in a high school, if I remember correctly, trying to deal with this apocalypse. There might be another book in this. I'm not sure. I haven't checked in a while. But this one appears on a whole lot of lists that people really, really enjoyed this. So this is not a test. I think that if you are into that sort of thing, you really might enjoy this book. Now, the problem with zombie literature is a lot of it's repetitive. It's the same old stuff. And so when you get something with a neat new little twist on it, it's very exciting. Jonathan Maberry is once again going to show up on this list. He'll show up again later. This is a series called Dead of Night. Now, this one is much more adult. It is filled with some pretty serious language, if that is something that bothers you. But the concept of this is just yikes. It's about, what do you do to punish someone who has done something awful to you? If you're a brilliant, crazy, mad scientist, in a sense. Basically, when a crazy man is going to be executed, I believe, or he is dying, I forget the exact plot. He's dying for some reason, but he is a murderer, and he has harmed the family of the scientist who wants to inject him with something he has created, that after he dies and is buried, that he will reanimate in the coffin and have to be stranded in the coffin. And basically, he's creating a zombie, but they maintain sentience. I mean, the problem with this is that it's like you're inside the zombie body, but you have no control over it. So if this were to get loose, you can't do anything. The zombie will behave as a zombie would, but you are trapped inside the thing's mind and you can't get out. And you're stuck there. You're aware of the fact that you, whatever you're doing. And of course, it gets loose. And you have these horrific scenes of family members going after other family members. And the person inside knows that they're the zombie going after them, but they can't do anything about it. They're just along for the ride. It's pretty horrible. But what a great book. It's such a great book. And I know there's more in this series now also. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk about another book that I don't have a physical copy of. I do have it. It's back here. I can't find it. But it's called Patient Zero. It's also by Jonathan Maberry. And it has another, he's so great at putting a unique twist, an original twist on the zombie genre. In Patient Zero, he's basically a group of terrorists create this virus that is related to the mad cow disease virus. And that mad cow disease virus causes people to zombify. And they want to get this loose in our country. And it's a Joe Ledger novel, which is kind of his military action hero guy. And it's their journey to try to deal with this potential terrorist attack of zombifying whole nations before it gets loose. And it's really, you get like the whole military fiction and the spy stuff and the zombie stuff all together, and it's called Patient Zero. It's very good. I think it was made into a film. Not seen it, so I couldn't vouch for that. Okay, the next series, I'm going to talk about this as a whole series because it is so wonderful. I can't begin to describe just how good this is. And it has the greatest title, I think, of any zombie novel I have ever come across. It happens to be young adult again, but it's so good. And it's called The Forest of Hands and Teeth. Wow, what a title. That is such a good title for a zombie novel. And basically this series, The Forest of Hands and Teeth, The Dead Tossed Waves, The Dark and Hollow Places, they all take place in kind of almost like a civilization has been knocked back to kind of colonial days, and they all take place in a village that is surrounded by wire. It reminds you kind of like the movie The Village, and the zombies are called the Unconsecrated, and it's run, there's kind of like some religious overtones to this, and it's about this young lady and her life and what she has to do to get through this. There's also an ebook, I think, that has some short stories to it called Hair Moon, I believe. And I have that one also on my Kindle. But it's so good. It's the literary power of this. The writing in this series is just beautiful. It really is. Now, I admit that The Dark and Hollow Places is not quite as good as these two, but it's still very, very good. It's really put together. Carrie Ryan has created something that's just wonderful. I'm really hoping, I've heard rumors of a film. I hope that they can adapt this and make it as beautiful as these books are. These are definitely rereadable. They're wonderful, wonderful stories. And I've recommended them to countless teenagers that are interested in zombies. So I recommend them to adults also. All right. I'm running out of room. David Moody wrote some stuff also. This is the Hater series. Okay. And this is Hater and this is Dog Blood. These are very good too. It's more kind of like, it's zombie-like, but it's more like a rage type situation. This book puts me in mind of 28 Days Later. It's not that, but it kind of makes me think that in a way. And I love these covers. They're just great. There's also more to this series. I don't have all of that yet. I've been a little bit lax in getting those. There's just so many books. And folks, let's just be honest. There are some seriously bad zombie books out there, just like there's some bad zombie movies. But I try to read them as much as I can, and I kind of collect them. And so I just deal with the bad and try to pull out all the good that I can. All right. The last one, and this comes from an old master himself. There he is, Stephen King. And this, of course, is Cell. This is also, I consider this a zombie novel because it makes people go crazy and start murdering one another. I think it's really interesting how he used a cell phone, and this dates itself by this flip phone on the cover here. I love the way he dealt with that. The fact that technology is possibly taking over our lives and turning us all into zombies. This has also been made into a film. Not as good as this book. This book's actually really, really well done. It's not that long for a Stephen King novel, and I really and truly enjoyed it. After all, most of these stories are about the people, not so much about the zombies. And I think that's what makes it so interesting and so exciting. Okay, I think that's about 10. I hope it was. I really wasn't keeping count. I assume it's 10. I think it was.
I realized I'd forgotten one, so I wanted to edit this in and throw this out there. The Reapers Are the Angels by Alden Bell. It's a fantastic zombie novel. Really, really well done. It feels like a Southern Gothic. It's so well written and so, I don't know, it really hits in a very strong and powerful way. The characters are just fantastic, and I could not let any zombie list go by without mentioning The Reapers Are the Angels. Just an amazing, amazing book as well.
Now I want to show you some TBRs that I have. And this might be something that you're interested in for the spooky season. I know that I'm trying to read some things for that as well. But I have far too many here that there's no way I'm going to get through them all. But it'll be something that I'll continue reading. Okay, this of course is a classic, and I just happen to now have it finally. It's Rising by Brian Keene. Brian Keene. I've heard this is very good, and it may have more than one part as well, I believe. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one as well. I love the collection of short stories that we can get. This is The Living Dead. This might be a really good one when you don't have a lot of time, just to read a few. Really cool cover. Love the art on them. Very nice edition. I picked this one up in a Get It for Cheap store. And I think I got it for $2, maybe. Zombie Apocalypse. Fight Back. And it's kind of unique because it has a weird structure inside. It has a lot of like letters, and that will drive me a little bit crazy to read. If you can look at that font, it tries to present it as if it's like artifacts put together in a book. So I'm really interested to see what that is. Hopefully I can wade into that. Sometimes you have to put the glasses on or you just can't see. This might be the most unique zombie novel that I found, and I cannot believe this exists. Y'all remember the Beatles, I'm sure, and you remember the rumors about Paul being dead. You remember that? Okay, well, this is the British zombie invasion, and it is Paul is Undead. And of course, you got the iconic crosswalk. And, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to really meet the Beatles. All right. I have no idea what this is about, but I could not resist, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what this is. Hopefully, I have a feeling it's got a little bit of comedy involved. Now, I've heard about this next one here a tremendous amount of good things. I believe this is considered young adult also. I don't know how this has happened. I happen to have picked up all the young adult series, but that's okay. I have a lot that are not and some that are. And this cover is beautiful. Beautiful cover. And it's called The End Games by T. Michael Martin. I've heard really good things about this. I love the cover design. It's just beautiful. And it is a zombie apocalypse. It's supposedly a very tense read, so we'll see what happens. All right. I think I showed this one before. I found it in a used bookstore called American Revenant. I purchased it because it was very cheap, and Goodreads gave it some pretty good stars. It also has a signature from the author on the inside. So that was kind of a cool find for a few dollars. I picked up this book. This doesn't look like a zombie book, but it is. What it is it's about the zombie apocalypse has occurred, and there's animals, and it's from their perspective, I believe. And it's like, what are all the humans doing? It's kind of a Watership Down meets, I don't know, Night of the Living Dead, I guess. I at least I believe that's what it is. It does have another part I'm going to have to pick up as well. I'm really interested to read this. I've heard it's very good. It has high reviews, and people say it's a really good read. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I love the octopus on the back of the cover. Just beautiful. And last but not least, this book came out, I believe, just not too long ago, this year, I think. And it was so beautiful, I had to pick it up. There was just no way I couldn't pick it up. Yep, this is a 2022 book. So I want you to take a look at this cover. It's called What We Harvest. It's a zombie book, but I believe it's more fungus-based, which made me think, of course, of the video game for PlayStation, The Last of Us. That's what it made me think of. So I was really intrigued to see what this is about. And it's got this just gorgeous cover. It's just beautiful. And I don't know if that's the flower that's causing the problems or what it is. But it's just all throughout this book. It's well put together. I really like that. It's just a delightful looking book. And I'm pretty excited to read it. So as you can see, I have a lot of reading to do. And I have a lot of zombie reading to do. That might be what I focus on for most of the spooky season. However, I have a lot of other things going on as well. I'm in a book club at school with some other teachers, and I'm currently reading some books there. We just finished A Man Called Uve, and we are currently reading The $1 Million Boy, or The 1 in a Million Boy, that's what it's called. So maybe I'll talk about those at some point. I also have some Star Wars books that I've read that I want to do reviews for, and some other books I've read that I want to do reviews for. Books like The Necromancer's House, book about Obi-Wan Kenobi, some other things that I'm currently reading. I'm reading The Chain also, and I'll try to get to all these. It's just really hard to make the time to do it, but I wanted to contribute to the spooky season. I'm sorry I've ran this video a little bit longer than I normally try to, but hopefully if you're interested in zombie fiction, you got something from it. I hope you did. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a great Halloween and a great fall, and hope you can avoid the sinus problems that I have been having, because in my area of the world, they're spinning up the beans and corn big time right now, and it is just killing me, folks. Have a great day. Have a good night. I'll see you soon. Be kind to each other. See you next time.